Hi, this is Glenda, and today I'm making a small soap. I'm calling it white flowers because that's the color of the embeds that I'm going to put on some of the bars. I have here the oils or the oil blend and the light water solution, which is distilled water mixed with sodium hydroxide, and I mixed it a couple hours ahead so that it has come now to room temperature. And the oil blend, I'm going to include the recipe in the description box. For fragrances, I'm using Clean Floral Fragrance Formulator, and I'm gonna mix it with fresh vanilla. They're both from Crafter's Choice. I honestly do not like Clean Floral that much because it has notes of what I think is jasmine, and I'm one of those people who do not like the smell of jasmine for some reason. Possibly some gene or DNA reasons from what I've researched. But I feel that mixed with the vanilla is going to soften it, and the floral being a top note, and I'm using a smaller percentage, it may not be as bad, hopefully. The vanilla in the fragrance, though, it will cause a discoloration to dark brown, possibly. So I don't plan on adding any other colorants to the mix because of that. And I'm currently blending it just enough to reach emulsion phase. I have a feeling that because the clean floral is a floral fragrance, it might cause acceleration once I'm making this up. So I'm slowly trying to bring it to emulsion, just doing quick short bursts with the stick blender and mostly just stirring it with it when I have it off. And once I feel that it has reached that emulsion phase, I'm trying to see actually if it's at light trace, but it doesn't seem to be there yet. But I don't see any oils divided or floated on top, so I do think it's emulsified. So I'm going to start measuring out the fragrance in a separate container, and I'm going to have them all ready, which is what you see here with the Lego pieces. But with the Legos, I just made the frame. As the mold, I'm using heavy cream carton because, like I said, it's a small soap. This is, if I remember correctly, whatever I had left over of my master batch oils. Usually, I prepared about 400 ounces of oils, and I blend it and mix them all together, and when I'm gonna make soap I just melt each container and make soap from that. So depending on how much I've made, I will have some leftovers, and then I just make a recipe just for that. And I did add the fragrance. I don't see any acceleration so far, so I actually even ventured using the stick blender to make sure that when it discolors evenly. And I did have a little bit left over than what my mold could fit, so I'm using an extra cavity mold just to make an extra small soap. Because of the mold is like a column mold, the carton, the milk carton, I'm only gonna be able to put decorations on the top, and for the bottom pieces that will not have any decorations, I may do some other kind of design, perhaps some inlays or something like that. And it did not seem to accelerate, but that could also be because it's a fragrance blend, so it's only a small percentage of the floral, the clean floral formulator, and most of it is the vanilla. So it seems to have stayed fluid, and I will also be able to put flowers on the small cavity mold. Initially I was going for a small delicate look, and you're gonna see later that on the top of the other one I went a little crazy and I started adding these random embeds that I have, even some rose quartz made with melt and pour. So that one's gonna, it became a little bit of a blend. And I went with the white flowers because I figured those will make a good contrast against the dark brown that I expect the bars to turn into. And I also added a little bit of cosmetic glitter to also help with that contrast. And I think I'm using the silver glitter in this case, and it's from North Shore Soap. And I remember that I did not put them through gel. Being a small molds, it's really hard for they to generate enough heat to go through gel phase. So it was actually also giving me a hard time. I had to wait a while to be able to unmold them because they felt really soft. This will also be the last soap on the flower soap series that I've been publishing lately. And I hope that you will join me for the next series, which I think is going to be a fun one. It's going to be all about swirls. So it may be called swirly soaps or something like that. And a lot of those will actually be made in collaboration with my husband. And he seems to favor very swirly, intricate designs for soap. So I've actually learned quite a bit from that as well, as that's not something that I usually do. Now, the flowers for this floral soap are made with soap dough, which is cold processed soap that has not been exposed to air, so it hasn't cured. It has remained soft enough that I was able to use a silicone mold to make the flowers. And then I did let them, I usually just leave them on a container like the one in which they are in right now. It's just like a strawberry or blueberry plastic container that has a lot of holes for air, and that allows them to dry and become hard so that when I put them in the soap they're easier to handle. It has been a couple of months since I made this soap, and I can tell you that initially I did not like the fragrance. The floral was still too strong with the jasmine notes. However, now that several weeks have gone by, the floral has definitely softened and the vanilla has become stronger, so it smells nice. I actually do like it, and I gifted out most of these soaps, but I kept one just to test it myself, and I hope to do that soon. So it's been a couple days since I made it. I'm gonna try to get it out of the mold. Surprisingly, it came out really easy from the Lego mold. What was tricky was getting it out of the milk carton. The top seemed to be releasing easy, but the bottom was still soft because you have to remember that this completely blocks any air intake. So I had to cut some of it and let some air in and then wait a few days before I could attempt to remove the rest because it was feeling soft. Another thing I could have done was to put it in the freezer, and that should have allowed me to remove it from or remove the carton more easily to cut it. Now, I didn't record again once I did remove it and cut it, but this is what it looks like after the 2 months, how dark it got. This is in sunlight. In a more of a shaded area, you can actually see how dark it got. This is with one of the ones from the middle. I attempted to make a portrait with an inlay design. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Bye.